Good morning. I see we're live. So I'm Matt and welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Let's have a quick slurp. Right, what have we got on the topics list for today? I'm just going to move that microphone forwards a touch. We have only 4 topics this morning, and I'll give you the reason why. Is that I'm still not 100%, and I'm expecting my voice to go very, very shortly again. I am on the last end of this one, but it's been pretty rough for the last week or two, so apologies for being a bit of a short one today. Topic number 1 is that I'm definitely not sane. Topic number 2 is, what should we call it? Custom mixes in iNav. We'll take a look at those as well. Topic number 3 is one which I feel actually really mean. I say really mean is I feel that the little, what was it, the orbit wing has been rather overshadowed by that something which I'm not saying. We'll take a look at the orbit wing in a few moments time, and again apologies for my voice being a little bit different to normal. I'm still really bunged up. The kids have given me a really good dose of flu. And the last topic is, talking of being overshadowed, Sidewinder, anyone? So that's going to be a bit of an open question for you about what you think about the show. Well, the Sidewinder is it kind of like missed the whole season. Anyway, let's text to speak, Matt. Anything you can tell what's going to go on here. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to blow my nose. I'm going to mute you so you don't get inflicted with it. Right, I sincerely hope that didn't come out, and I'm pretty blocked up at the moment as well. Right, green pattern. So good morning, everyone. Loud and clear. That's the little note I was looking for. Right, so let's get in and let's get into the first topic. And like I said, I really am not on form at the moment, and I'm not 100%. But we're going to carry on anyway because that's what we do. Nano Talon, in short. I know that we've had an absolute flood on the Nano Talon, and look, there she is. And frankly honest, is that in fact, no, let me just be brutally honest, is that it's absolute perfect flying conditions out there at the moment. And I almost made a recording saying that I'm not going to be around because I feel like pants. And I wandered off to go and give that a chuck, which I'm sure pretty much most of you would have probably appreciated the brutal honesty on it. And yeah, it's been great, in short. I was a little bit worried about the wings snapping off and stuff like that. I've hit a couple of trees, a hedge, had some dodgy landings, and it's the wings have unclipped on it. But yeah, I'm glad that I have stuck iNav in it, because the stabilizer was alright, but the one thing which is missing for the standard stabilizer, and I'm being polite for the standard stabilizer because I think it's a good idea that they've been included something like that in with a model. Excuse me. And that's something which I want to encourage for the future, because I feel stabilizers are definitely a beneficial tool in our arsenal, especially for FPV pilots. So I do encourage that a lot. But on the flip side, it would be really nice if we had the ability to change the gains on the 3 axis. There is a little bit of hope for that one, the inbuilt stabilizer, because there are 4 or 5 little programming tabs on there, and they have set them up differently between that model and that model, so it can be programmed. We just don't know how yet. So I'm sure some smart bunny in the future will sort that one out as well. We will get out to Shoutout Corner in just a few moments' time. Now, let's have a quick look on there. I'll give you a quick heads up. It does fly a million times better when it's not so windy. And those of you which may have seen the video from last night on the iNav conversion, and that's why I left the FPV footage up for so long at the beginning. We had a little talk about the OSD, is because it is so much smoother when it's not so blooming choppy up there. And also, obviously, with a decent stabilizer, it really does make a difference too. Now, there is a part of that flight which I didn't actually tell you about, which is that I did go up and get some height on, and then go out in a specific direction. And I do need to pause a mo. Apologies. And yeah, it did go out and I flew out, and I need to get this on the right because I've got the video footage, but I'll give you the rough details. So I flew out at a whole 12 kilometers per hour, which is not a lot, and I was only pottering out at about 3 amps, and it took forever just to get out there. And I thought, well, all right, I was sat there and I was enjoying the view, etc, etc, and I knew I wasn't getting anywhere fast, and to be honest, that was perfectly fine. And then I turned around to come back home, and it did 100 and something kilometers an hour on the way back. So the headwind on the ground level, there was absolutely nothing, and well, except a little bit of breeze. But as soon as you got over a certain height, is that there must have been a big wind, a strong wind coming in over the top, and I was out fighting it, thinking, well, all right, it's not fast. I didn't have that the first time I flown it at any height, so just thought the ground was moving slowly as you do, but it was chugging along on there, and I was frankly enjoying it. And I turned it around and whoosh, and it was back, and it flew past me. It was like, that really caught me out, and that's why I gave it full knacker and to get it back in line again. So that I did find that quite bemusing. Anyway, I could talk all day about the Nano Talon. For me, it is what I wanted it to be. It is just click, click, stick a battery in, lob, enjoy. It's literally half the size of a mini Talon now. I do know they're expensive. What, they're $105 or something at the moment. I grant you that is expensive for the model. Personally, I am really happy with mine, and I hope some of that enthusiasm's come through. So with that said, I'll tell you what, let's go and move across to Shoutout Corner. And you're going to have to excuse me. In fact, I talk amongst yourself about it. I really do need to pause to blow my nose. And like I said, I'm really not 100% here today. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Right, let's get back to live chat. Get back to the Shoutout Corner. So this is the live chat. These are the cool people which have been enjoying in with the live version. Obviously, if you're watching the recorded version, don't forget any questions or comments you can leave in the comments section underneath this video. So a very good morning to, let me scroll up, Brad and Elijah, of course. We've been having a chit chat here this morning. Good morning, Turbo Tyler as well, and Green Patches. Gordon, good morning. Alistair, good morning. ZTune13, good morning. Killer Dave and Robert, good morning. Jeff, good morning too. Les, good morning. Joanne, good morning. Bruce, good morning. The Guinness, good morning. Joanne, Dan, Morpheus, Echo, Leon, good morning as well. And RC Air and Jake, good morning. And I think I've missed someone, Van as well. I knew I missed someone as well. And G's no good name, good morning as well. It's the live chat takeover. It is indeed. So I'd like apologies. I really am struggling today. So we're doing the best we can. Right, so anyway, I could talk all day about the Nano Talon. It is what I expected it to be, and it's so much better now that I've stuck iNav in it. So that is classed as happy days in my books. Moving on to the next topic, which is actually a little tricky one. And by the way, it's a photo which I spotted in the Facebook group this morning. I laughed. I'm sure Carl laughed as well. That's an FX61, which has been landed lightly. So well done, Carl, in short. There is a fantastic video, and again, I've put a link to this in the video description, about creating custom servo mixes with iNav. Now, that's the thing to keep in the back of your mind, is that with iNav specifically, just like a normal aeroplane, is that you output it's typically one channel per servo, so for one surface, so aileron, elevator, rudder. And you can also set up, again, it's really nice because iNav, because the common model is normally an aeroplane or a flying wing, so they've already got a pre-made mix for you for when it comes to a flying wing. However, when it comes to a VTOL, so unlike a flying wing where you've got elevator and ailerons mixed in to a single pair of surfaces, With a VTOL, you have the aileron separate, and then you have rudder and elevator mixed in together. And that's something which you can very, very easily do with iNav. And also in the video description, I've put a link across to the iNav wiki as well, because I have been included the mix for my little Nano Talon for the VTOL as well. And again, I've linked back to the video which covers it. And yeah, it's really, really simple to set up. One thing which I didn't realize you could do until I was chatting on Slack yesterday to the iNav developers is that you can also do a motor mix as well, which is something which you do as part of, again, you'll see that in the video which Lee Schofield from Painless 360 has been done. But you can also do a motor mix, and that was something which caught my attention because I still got the mini Talon, which is up there somewhere. Well, actually, you can just about see the VTOL above my head. Oh no, actually, it's on the photo, which is down there. Sorry, I'm not with it. I've got I printed off those two motor mounts for the mini Talon, which I've got here. So we're gonna have a go at differential thrust with iNav on a mini Talon at some point in the future as well. So it does look pretty cool, but I did want to bring up the topic. You can do custom mixes. The best video which I found is this one from Painless 360. Do note they did change the layout slightly for, well, quite a chunk for when it comes to iNav 1.7.2, which is a bit frustrating. Don't know why they did it, but they did it. Hey ho. So just be aware of that, but that will get you on the right lines, and it'll let you know about how things work. And again, if you look in the iNav wiki as well, there's a link in there, and you'll see the commented versions, and then you'll understand how they work as well. And also there's a custom mix in there for the Nano Sky Hunter too. So yeah, topic which I wanted to bring up. VTOLs are supported with iNav. That's what I'm using in mine, and you can also set them up for other models as well. Let's have a quick look at your chat in the background. Right, cool. Right, next topic, and remember there's only 4 topics here this morning. The orbit wing, I feel really bad. Again, as a reviewer and for you, I feel really bad because as you can tell, my heart has really been in with that one. There's no two ways about it. It's exactly what I wanted it for, and it's something which I could take over the fields and just lob it, slap the goggles down, and enjoy a 20-minute flight. You know, that's what I want that one for, and that's what I'm going to be using it for. And also chasing up the rear of Andrew and see if we can knock in him and Austin. Yes, Austin, I've seen the paint scheme on yours, and give it and chuck them around. Anyway, coming back to the topic, I do feel a bit bad because the Nano Talon is completely overshadowed the little orbit wing. And again, we've got to be fair here. This little orbit wing will just never be a contender for the S800. The S800 Reptile Sky Shadow thing is just an absolute robust model. It's made out of EPP, and whereas this is a moulded EPP and EPO, and that's the bit which maybe bugs me a little bit about the Nano Talon, is that it was being sold as EPP when in fact it was only part EPP. The white foam itself is actually put that the right way around, and the white foam is EPO foam. So each of the foams have their benefits, but to be honest, as a pilot which likes to land their models very, very frequently, I do prefer EPP foam because it's tougher, and I'm not that bothered about the weight penalty for it being all EPP. But that's the orbit wing, and again, we have a look at it. It's really straightforward. So it turns up in the box, and you go clunk clunk, stick a camera in it, and you're away. You know, and the bay, you could, and again, you'll see what I've done in mine. You'll see that I've just been storing the, whichever side it is, that side, the little all-in-one FPV camera. I've just been storing that in there with an extra battery, and to be honest, it runs better on a 4S pack, a 2200 4S pack, and it flies best on that because you've got loads and loads of thrust. It's pretty agile, and crucially, there is room to fit. Room to fit an iNav board in there. It will be a bit of a squeeze because you might have to jump over the top of the spar in the middle, but you can definitely, again, if you look underneath, there's loads of room in the lid, so you could do that. But actually it does cause an issue because you've got to then do something with the receiver and the video transmitter, so you're going to end up putting it in the lid right here. So it's not going to be a long range model at all. It's just going to be click. It's for those of you which want to go click, click and go. But if I stuffed that in a tree, which was my original goal, by the way, to stick that in a tree at a ton and see if it was any good as the S800, the reality is that it would smash to a million pieces. And it just wouldn't survive. Even if I did it at half that speed, I don't think it would survive. So, yeah, can't really compare that one to the S800, which is such a pity. Well, I say such a pity. It just kind of proves that the S800 was actually a really good model in the first place. You know, so. Yeah, curious. And again, do need to check my notes on there. Yeah, there's a big note in there. Again, it's got a stabiliser like the little Nano Talon. It's the same company, and I really wish they had some little potentiometers so you could tweak the gains for the stabiliser, because that would make you could tone it down for a quieter day and you could turn them up for a windier day. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat, and I've got no idea where that chat has gone, and you can see the chat going above my head. So yeah, I'm not going to be iNaving it. Instead, what I'm going to do is take it out on the next available quiet day when it's not so bloomin' windy. I've got the video footage of the maiden and stuff like that, and we learned that it does actually need a bigger battery in the front of it, because the first launch on it, it's so tail heavy, it just goes straight vertical on me. Again, remember, I will include that screw up in the actual video as well, and then we slowly put bigger and bigger batteries in it, and it works out better in the end. And the onboard footage is pretty stable as well. So yeah, it does fly fine. Don't get me wrong. It's just never gonna handle being stuffed in a tree at a ton. And also, I feel so bad because I've already worked out it's not for me. It needs to find a new home, so we're gonna have to do a giveaway on that one at some point in the future. In short, but it's again, I don't want to be mean to it. It flies great. It's just come at a time when the Nano Talon turned up, and I'm more excited about that than I am that one. It's harsh, isn't it? Anyway, talking about being harsh, and also talking about being overshadowed, the Sidewinder. What happened to that? Now, I feel a little bit mean to Stuart Warren, actually, because I know that he'd spent so much time and effort and energy in the design of that wing. However, has perhaps Hobby King completely missed the summer now? Because what we 1st of August, I think that's the date today. Sorry, 2nd of August. So summer's almost over, you know. And is anybody in reality gonna, like in the mainstream, gonna go and get a wing knowing that most of the season's over? Obviously, those of you which are on the opposite side of the planet, you're going, happy days, we're gonna have spring soon, and then we're gonna be out flying. It's gonna be brilliant for you. But I do feel that they kind of have missed the boat. And also, like on a personal level, again, you can let me know what you think of this, either in the live chat, which is going on right now, or in the comment section underneath if you're watching the recorded version. Is that have they missed a trick here? Have they just missed the boat? Is this just a model which is going to get put off to next year? I just don't understand the delivery mechanism for that one. It's just, it was beefed up at the beginning of the year, was kind of looking forward to it, to be perfectly honest, really looking forward to it, and it's dragged on so long now, is that the next major season really is going to be next year, in all reality. And also comparing to some of the models which I've personally been flying FPV lately, I don't really see it's going to be that much compared to other models, if that makes sense. And I'm just being brutally honest. So I am a little bit, and again, I'm mentioning this because I'm just disappointed, you know. I'm disappointed that it's not been released. I was really looking forward to it, and season, like summer, is like on its way out. And again, it's not only the same here in the United Kingdom. I'm sure it's going to be the similar circumstances for those in the United States as well. So yeah, a bit of a shame. And again, I've read out my notes in here. Again, I feel it's a pity that I know that Stuart Warren works on it a lot, and it's sucky. The big thing is that the FP models which I've been flying recently, I'm not entirely sure that I want one anymore, and that's the brutal reality which I'm in. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just gonna have a quick look at the chat on here at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Yoko Nuz says, "Hi Matt, what's your experience with an omnibus F3 without a current sensor from Banggood? Is it reliable?" First of all, I've never used one, and there's some irony, which is that I wish I did cover the F3 flight controller, the omnibus one, in the iNav series, because it's got up to 8 PWM output ports, which would be absolutely fantastic for a Talon, a mini Talon. In short. So I've personally not used one myself, but just check the reviews, and some of these flight controllers have got like hundreds of reviews. It's going to be fine, in short. It's going to be fine. So that's the reality of it. Comments. Brad says the signer blew up, Stu left and the winder died. It does unfortunately look like that. It is a bit sad, to say the least. And apologies, I'm looking down here and you can see the chat up there. So Alistair does say better to have an F4 with an OSD. One thing which I would say, Yoko, is do go for the one. Don't worry, the current sensor is really nice. Let's just not knock it. I like having the current sensor on the board itself. It does complicate wiring and things like that. But just make sure the board which you do go for has an inbuilt OSD. That is like one of the best features of iNav, basically, because they've been in Nick's Betaflight's OSD, and you can configure it all in one app, and it works pretty well. You know, that is the coolest thing. Like I was saying in the video yesterday, is that iNav comparable features to an Eagle Tree Vector. It has 99% of the stuff which I want, but it costs 1/5 of the price. It's crazy. If you're prepared to put the time, effort, and energy in to learn how it works, which, like I said, what I didn't tell you was my setup was I had it all pre-made. You know, I already had the little mount for the board. The wires were already on there, and I just stuffed it in. I already had one pre-made, and I got a couple more over there in the box ready to go. That's what happens when you kind of realise, well, I can have 5 of these for the price of 1 Vector. So actually, I've probably ended up buying about 7 of them or more. Robert, sloping is coming. So Joe, I know that you're a big Soaring fan. I really enjoy sloping. I've actually got, remember the Flying Blade? Fantastic little wing. I did buy a second one. I've set that up for slope soaring, just not been slope soaring since. So looking forward to that myself. Robert says the Sonic model AR wing. That one is on the way to me right now. If you give me a second, I will find out what its status is. Sorry, it's on the other window. I'm just going to have a quick look. Right, it just says your package has been forwarded. So it's on the way, coming through France, apparently. So the Sonic model AR wing, it's on its way to us. That one does look like it's actually made out of EPP foam, and we'll take a look at that and see how that flies as a contender to the S800. But yeah, to remember, the Orbit wing is just it's a different type of model. It's a different type of market for that model, for the Orbit wing, whereas the for the AR stealth wing, it's the fuselage, which that is the piece which I'm interested in, and I know it's the piece which you're interested in. How big is that fuselage? Can I fit iNav in it, a great big battery, and some electronics as well? So that's the kind of thing which is going through my head, and I know it's probably going through your head as well. So yeah, we'll find out for sure on that one. And again, apparently someone's mentioned in the comments somebody else has actually got their hands on one. I'm trying to keep away from that. I've not looked at that person's video or what they've said about the wing. I'm trying to keep away from it, so it's my own fresh eyes on the model. Excuse me, like I said, not 100% at the moment. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it like, how big is that fuselage? We'll focus on that and we'll move from there. Let's have a quick look. Bought on AliExpress for €15 shipped. Happy days. Brilliant. Let's have a quick. The M4 Banger's horrible. The Maytech 405. Not actually used that one myself, Leon. And by the way, you can see the chat going on above my head. So let's have a quick look on the chat. No, I haven't, by the way, Thomas. Used a brushless whoop. That would be pretty cool. The F4 that came with the Ishin Wizard 2200 from Sir Bruce was crap. I'm sorry to hear that, in short. Again, I like the F4 boards. I know some people like complain about them, but the F4 boards, which I've only had one duffer, and it was the first one I had, wasn't it? And then I hit it without ammo, and then we tried killing it with a lipo, which was not a good idea. And those of you which can remember the live episode which that happened in, not fun at all. Let's have a quick look. Yes, I agree with you, Kermit's on there. You've got better servo pin headers for it. Let's have a quick look in the chat. Brilliant. Right. On that note, it is time for us to wrap up. I've covered everything which I wanted to cover with you this morning. Again, apologies, I am not 100%. Hopefully we get back to normal sarcasm mode next Wednesday. To quickly recap the topics which we have been covered here today. The Nano Talon. You might be sick to death to it, but I really like it. And like I said, I really did consider skiving and not doing the RC Coffee Chat this morning so I could go out and go and fly it, because it was absolutely like 0 wind conditions out there this morning, which was not what it said in the weather report. It's supposed to be belting it down. So we ploughed on anyway. So hey ho. Yeah, I like it. I genuinely do, and I hope that's come through. I do like it. There's some bad things which you can say about it, like it being too expensive for what it is, and the stabilizer is not amazing, and they really should bring out a kit version of it. But that said, the motor actually turned out to be alright. The actual whole kit as a whole worked alright, and mostly it balls around about price, and the stabilizer could be a little bit better. But all in all, I really like mine because I've got iNav in it now, which is brilliant. Custom mixes with iNav, a topic which we've covered. The links to both Painless 360 and the iNav wiki are in the video description underneath this video. Click on show more underneath, and both the links are in there. Definitely worth watching Lee's explanation of the custom mixes. The Orbit wing, I really do feel bad for that wing, because it's just been completely overshadowed by the Nano Talon. For me, the Nano Talon, I'm keeping that model. I like it. If I smashed it up, I would buy another one. The Orbit wing has arrived at exactly the same time, and it's just like, I just feel really bad for it, because it's been like shoved to one side. I've not done any video editing on it, and this is like the first time I've mentioned it since I think we mentioned it once in the video from flying on Saturday, you know. But I feel really, really bad, because it is a nice wing, and I need to calm down a bit on that one, and we'll go and take an objective, try and keep an objective look at that one. So yeah, I do feel really bad about that. It is nicely made. Let's not knock it at all, and it is very, very simple to put together. Click, click. You can't get any easier than that, you know. And the last topic was the which was being overshadowed, which is the Sidewinder. Have Hobby King left it now too late in the season? Is this just a model which we're going to go on and see get deferred until next year, which is such a pity. But it is getting really, really late in the season now, and my comment, which I'm sure you picked up earlier, was that I've flown an awful lot of good models this year. Do I want another one? That's the brutal reality. I don't know. We'll find out if and when it actually gets released. And I would like to say a massive thank you. Joanne, I've just seen on the chat on there, did you add an extra servo for the VTEL? Yes, I did. If you see yesterday's video on the Nano Talon, the iNav conversion, Scroll to about 8 minutes in and you'll see me. I've got a second servo on there, so we've got elevator and rudder as well. And anyway, it's time for me to go. I do apologise for nose blowing and my voice being really, really funny and me having to stop it a few times. Really am not 100% today and haven't been for a while, but we must plough on. And with that said, I would like to say a massive thank you to you for joining me here today. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm feeling pretty rough now. If you are out flying today, please, again, stick a battery in for me. That would be very much appreciated, windy or not. So on that note, for myself, Matt, cheerios.